I beat the new Bloons TD 6 DLC Rogue Legends using just one tower and one hero. And I'm not talking about stage 1, I'm talking about stage 5 out of 5, the final stage of the campaign. A short disclaimer, I had to use more than one tower for the final boss fight, but I will explain that later. My loadout and my strategy. For the final stage, I started on the right path because I wanted to complete a boss rush event and earn an extra legendary artifact. Speaking of artifacts, let me show you my absolutely insane loadout. I took on the challenge of using only one hero and only one type of tower. My choice, the Dart Monkey. Thanks to my artifacts, a 0-2-4 Dart Monkey is as strong as a degree 1 Dart Paragon. The two most overpowered artifacts I use here were Splody Darts, which makes my Dart Monkey projectiles explode and dealing 9 extra damage to nearby bloons when they expire. The second one is Unification, which allows every primary monkey, so also my Dart Monkeys, to count as all monkey categories, meaning every boost for magic, military and or support towers applies to all of my Dart Monkeys. Because of Unification, 75% of all artifacts worked on my Dart Monkeys, turning them into absolute gods. Here are some of my key artifacts that made this run possible. The first of my artifacts is Bouncing Projectiles. This one was also my starter artifact, and all projectiles now bounce off obstacles and travel 40% further. Hit for Ted increases attack speed by 40% but also makes bloons move 25% faster. Frosted Tips increases Dart Monkey's pierce and range by 20%, and they now also apply an effect called Permafrost, slowing down all bloons by 50%. Homing Projectiles make Dart Monkey's projectiles home in on bloons like a 0-0-1 Ninja Monkey would do. Zigzag grants zigzag shooting patterns and also 20% more attack speed. Because of Ceramic Chunker, we deal 2 bonus damage to every single ceramic bloon. Pure damage has to be one of my favorites because it increases the damage against ceramic bloons and Moabs by 230%. Overwhelming Synergy gives us another 40% attack speed boost. The Unspoken Heroes gives us a 10% chance to deal a 350% critical hit. Slower is Harder also increase our flat damage by 15%. Heightened Perception gives us a boost of attack range by 55%. The BB Gatling Gun gives us a reduced reload time of 30%. Steel gives us another 10% chance to freeze all the bloons. And Critical Success gives us another 10% chance to deal 900% crit damage. If we combine all of our artifacts now, the final stats are 170% increased attack speed, 115% increased range, homing, slowing and freezing attacks, 20% more pierce, pushback against bloons and smaller Moabs, and about 470% extra damage against slowed, stunned or glued bloons. And we also have a chance to deal 1250% crit damage. So overall, our Dart Monkeys are now completely broken, and now I'm going to show you the final stage. The first map is firing range from round 5 to round 22. I placed down my sharpshooter, destroyed the turret just for fun, and I upgraded my sharpshooter to very quick shots. I'm always going to upgrade my sharpshooter to very quick shots because it's just the better upgrade. And since Unification applies all boosts to our primary categories, so to all of our Dart Monkeys, I focused mainly on damage and attack speed over pierce, because I think attack speed and damage is way more important than having more pierce, because our pierce is already very high. After clearing the first map, I had the option to pick a tier 5 Boomerang Monkey, a tier 5 Mer Monkey or a legendary Zigzag artifact. And since it was a solo tower challenge, I upgraded my Zigzag to legendary. My second map was Water Park from round 6 to round 25. I used the same strategy as on the first map. I used Sharpshooter and Psy. And after clearing it, my rewards were pretty underwhelming, so I took Fata Morgana, an artifact for Mer Monkeys, even though I wouldn't use it at all. Alright, now we are going to start with the fun part, the boss rush battle against Blaster Populus. The goal was 70 bosses defeating for another legendary artifact. As you guys can see, my sharpshooter dart monkey obliterated the first tiers and I had so much spare cash that I bought a dart paragon just to see how far I can push it. I almost reached 100 kills and my reward? A legendary pure damage artifact increasing dart monkey's damage again by 70%. The next tile was on shoots and let's say one sharpshooter was clearly enough to clear the map alone. Again. After destroying the map shoots, I went to a campfire to enhance one of my artifacts and I went with the slower is harder option, which increased my overall damage by 5%. On the crossroad I went to the left because it has way less bloon encounters and bloon encounters can get very scary if you do too many on one stage, because every time you do one, the rounds for the next one will go higher and higher. You also have a very high chance on getting expert maps at stage 4 and 5, so it was just overall the safer call to go to the left side. Also, I really like to open chests and there are just 2 chests right in front of me, so I have to take the left side. On the first chest I got a support specialist artifact which gave my dart monkey 20% reduced attack reload time. And can someone explain me the difference between reload time and attack speed? Is there even a difference, because I'm so confused by all these new amplifiers and how the math behind it works. Anyways, on the next chest it really didn't got me any good artifacts, so I picked a random one that makes my alchemist better, which I'm not even using. The next encounter was on Bloonarius Prime and this one was way tougher than it looks, but by placing down multiple sharpshooters and Psy I was able to beat it. I also got a really cool legendary artifact called Esoteric Elementalist, which makes my wizard monkeys freeze and blow back bloons, but it says wizard monkeys and not magic monkeys, so this sadly doesn't work on my dart monkeys. The next challenge was a least tiers challenge and 3 of my sharpshooters and Psy were able to easily defeat it and getting me one more legendary reward. All of my 3 options were named specific ones, so one was for the ninjas, one was for heroes and the other one was for glue gunners, which means none of them had any use for me. The next tile was on cards and darts. The strategy was the same and the rewards were useless again. It's a really hard life if you try to beat this one with only one tower and you only get rewards that are tower specific. The second last bloon encounter for stage 5 was on Quiet Street and I used multiple sharpshooters and Psy again to beat it. Now it's the time for the last boss rush event of this campaign and it was again obviously against Blaster Populous. I have to say I hate playing against this boss in this challenge run because of his stun. Anyways, the goal was clear, 70 kills for a legendary artifact. So I used a bunch of sharpshooters and rebought my tier 5 crossbow monkey from time to time and in the end I was able to defeat it 96 times. I got a surprisingly good artifact at the end because we got heightened perception, which increases the attack range of all primary monkeys, so also our dart monkeys, by 75%, which was insane of an upgrade for the upcoming last battle. Before the last battle though, I had to beat the last bloon encounter. It was also the first time I had to fight until round 40 and it was also the first time I lost one of my 5 lives to a DDT in round 35. Because there was no way I could beat this tile with just sharpshooters and I still had the dream of beating the challenge with just sharpshooters and my hero Psy. I did the only right thing a true hero would do. I skipped the bloon tile, paid 1 life and went straight to the last boss. I only had 3 lives left and started the last boss and of course it had to be Blaster Populous, the only boss that could kill me in my challenge run. I started the game by placing down a sharpshooter and Psy and I was ready for the stun, but there was one even bigger problem I didn't have in mind. The last game starts at round 35 and round 35 means DDTs will spawn right from the first round. Of course, as the lost person I am, I didn't notice and I had to pay with one of my last 3 lives and find out the hard way that skipping the last bloon encounter probably wasn't the smartest idea. I admired defeat and my only goal now was to be the first person to beat stage 5 out of 5 of the new DLC. So I swallowed my pride and for the first time ever in stage 5, I placed down a different tower than the dart monkey and Psy. my tier 5 Energizer and also a village. I upgraded my Energizer to 520 and with my leftover money I placed down a 0-0 spike factory in the back. My damage was absolutely fire and I made it somehow through round 35. The next round, round 36, was pretty easy because it was just a bunch of mobs coming down from the water slide and my sharpshooter could easily handle them. I was also very close to hitting the 50% mark of the boss, but then I saw him. Another DDT was coming right behind the boss and in the same moment my sharpshooter got stunned and another DDT who took out one of my lives once again. Now I was stuck with just one life to beat the final boss and end the campaign, and if I can't make it I have to redo everything from stage 1, which by the way took me about 4 to 6 hours. After thinking about the strategy for roughly 10 minutes, I went in again and I placed down my 0-0 village. I upgraded my village to an MIB so all of my towers can now attack those stupid DDTs. I also placed down an alchemist to buff my sharpshooter and I placed my sharpshooter way more behind so it cannot attack the boss right away. My plan was simple, beat the rounds but don't hit the boss so I can place down more and more sharpshooters. If at least one of my sharpshooters doesn't get stunned, he can easily defeat those DDTs. Well, at least that's what I thought. After round 38, I was able to put down my second sharpshooter even further behind so he can deal with all the balloons and all the mobs. But after thinking about it for a second, I wasn't really happy with my placement. So I went out and back in to replace it and then I noticed something. The timer for placing down a tower gets resetted to 4 rounds if you go out and back in a boss fight. This means I was forced to win this now with only one sharpshooter again. I started to panic because dying means restarting the whole campaign. So in complete panic, I placed down all of my cheap towers. One right next to the boss so it gets stunned because it's the closest one to the boss, and one as far away from the boss as possible so that one will get stunned as well. Everything was down to this try, but then I noticed on round 40 2 ZOMG spawns and they are really slow, so I changed the targeting of my sharpshooter to attack the boss from now on. Why did I do this? Because if the round doesn't end, no DDTs can spawn. So I pushed the boss to its last skull and now I just had to deal with one more skull and round 41 to beat the boss. I placed down one more spike factory just out of pure panic and for some reason no one of my towers got stunned. No DDTs spawned in round 41 and I had to beat the boss now before I finished the last ZOMG and round 42 starts. I somehow beat the boss and round 41 at the same time and DDT started spawning shortly after, but after a few seconds the victory screen appeared and I finally won. I was able to defeat stage 5 out of 5 of the new DLC campaign in Bloons Defense 6 with just one tower and a hero and a little bit of help at the last boss. I got to choose now one last permanent. I banned the super monkey just to see what happens and I went with the tier 5 boomerang monkey. I also got the new option to extract one of the artifacts I collected over my 5 stages, but since this was an early access account I skipped that option as well. I went back to the home menu ready to go into a new run and I unlocked the option to do everything again but in a chimps run. The chimps campaign is endless and you cannot extract artifacts after stage 5 and you only have 3 hearts. And every map has chimps rules and without thinking I went straight into a new adventure. Thank you guys very much for watching. If you want to see me do my chimps run, please leave a like and subscribe to my channel and make sure to use my creator code Punji in the BTD6 store before you buying the new DLC if you want to support me for free. Until next time, bye.